Hi, welcome to Made to Heal with Angela Brown. I'm going to talk about learning and things that we do when we're learning, good and bad, right? There's a lot of emotions that come up when we're learning new things. We'll get into that here in a minute. I'm just having a reminder of my 12-week online course that starts June 24th and it goes to September 9th. It's every Monday for an hour and a half, a live Zoom call that's got a lot of visuals to help you get the tools and techniques that I'm teaching. And it has a 15-minute one-on-one call each week to help reach your targeted goal areas specifically for you. What does this course entail? This course entails healing the inner child from maybe childhood trauma. It helps you on clearing emotions and how to move forward and not stay stuck. So much of our pain, our physical pain, has to do with emotions that we haven't processed through. So it's important to be able to recognize and process through those. And mindfulness techniques and tools and things that will help you move forward, stand in your power, finding your life mission and purpose, and being able to step into your power, your God-given power. So this is something that is recommended for ages 18 on up for men and women. And go ahead and grab a friend and come on a healing journey. I was stuck for 30 plus years in depression and suicidal thoughts. And when I hit rock bottom, I learned how to surrender and trust God. And He just led me to a path of books, people, classes, seminars, you name it. I did it all, and a lot of soul searching and looking and seeing what works and doesn't work. And by the way, if you are reading a self-help book, most all the suggestions are going to be helpful in one form or another, even if you have to tweak it to align with you and your truth. So go ahead and click on the link in the comments below to register for this class. The first 20 to register gets this course for 50% off, half off, and it's a good value. So remember, it's a class for 18 on up, men and women alike. And for just anybody that may feel like they're stuck, maybe you don't feel stuck, but you want more fulfillment and better connection with yourself, God, and others. That's huge, and that's something that especially since COVID, we are losing the connection that we need to have with one another and with God. So go ahead and hit the link to register for that. Now, learning. I love learning. I absolutely love learning, and maybe that's not everybody's story, but just because I love learning, does it make learning super easy for me? No, learning has always been a challenge. So but the important thing is especially when you're adults, you have a little bit more control over what it is you do and do not learn, right? We have a little bit more power in that way. So what do we do when we learn new information? And I'm going to be honest here, when I learn new information, sometimes I just get frustrated. Maybe on top of frustrated, maybe I start feeling of my worth is not as what I thought it was. Maybe I was like, oh, yeah, here I thought I was okay in that department, and oh, I just learned I'm not. Or, whatever it is. I have been taking this retreat. I've been on this retreat, and I've been taking this course of the human design, really getting to know myself and who I am, how I operate, and what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, because we can totally learn from them. And your weaknesses are beautiful too, like just the whole way it's designed. And I'm just getting the beginning of stuff. I'm definitely going to be reading the human design books, so I encourage you, if you are wanting to learn more about yourself and others around you, this has been quite the amazing thing, and it gives me such an aha experience, an aha epiphanies. And when we come across epiphanies, it's like, what are we going to do with them, right? What are we going to do with that? Are we going to just like, oh, yeah, and then like that's it? Or are we going to build on that? Also, what are the triggers that come up when you're learning that I'm not good enough, or gosh, this is so hard. Why am I not getting it and everybody else is? Or we start comparing ourselves or whatever, or the not enough creeps up. even with me working on it for going on 9 years, it still shows up, right? And actually, and it's almost going on 10 years actually, since I hit rock bottom. So it's so important that we take those triggers and turn, instead of saying, okay, they're triggers and now I don't know what to do with this, but they're teaching moments. They're going to teach us what can we learn from the triggers. Number one is what I want you to think right now. You can choose this, right? But what I would love for everybody to understand and recognize is you are just perfect the way you are right now. You are enough. You are on your journey where you are and where you're meant to be. And maybe you're like, well, I don't know that I've been meant to stay stuck. There's a reason for everything. And so love yourself. That has kind of been my message the last several years to myself is, hey, Angela, just love yourself no matter what you've been through. You've been through a lot, and love yourself no matter where you are at right now. It's important to have that self-love. And there's a lot of tools and techniques that I share, getting into that in my 12-week course. But so it's important to not be so hard on yourself. Learning is an incredible journey. And so that's why it's important that we pay attention to what's going into our subconscious and conscious mind at all times. Are we putting information that's going to be useful and uplift us so that when we are working on ourselves, uplifting ourselves, it can build others around us? So that's why it's incredible, because when we work on ourselves, when we can build ourselves, and when I say work on ourselves and build ourselves, we do it through God and Christ, right? We have this foundation. So they lead us and guide us. They're our inner North Star. They're our leading compass. Any of those thoughts, those inspirations. Inspiration is the breath of God, and we learn from God, okay? So when I say when we are building ourselves, it comes from God, but it's this inner power, and this inner power is God. So we become empowered as we're learning. And so it's important that when we are learning and we are helping ourselves improve, self-improvement is not just doing it for ourselves. It's not a selfish thing. A lot of people think, oh, I'm focusing on self and doing this for myself or doing this for myself. And that's kind of selfish. And no, self-improvement is huge, because think of it as you are doing it for the betterment of the world. When you put time and invest time in yourself, it's like throwing that rock in the pond, right? You throw that rock in the pond. God actually in Christ are the rock. They're the solid foundation. They are solid, and they're in the pond, and you work on that first ring, which is you. And then the next ring, as that rock is dropped into the pond, is your family unit, or your circle, your close, tight-knit circle. And then beyond that is community outside your circle. And then beyond that is, the world. You broaden it and you go even bigger. The state you live in, the country, and then the world, right? Just what you do has a huge impact. And a lot of people think, well, it doesn't matter what I do. And you could be living in your own space, in a bubble, like a hermit, without anybody knowing what you're doing, but it still affects the world. Our thoughts and our actions and everything we do is energy, and it affects the entire world, the emotions that we have. So my challenge to you is learn about you. Through the human design, it's incredible. You can learn so much about yourself and others around you. And then not only that, pass the knowledge that you learn to other people to help them on their healing journey. Just when you learn, don't keep it and hoard it and keep it for yourself. But we are meant to learn, and whatever resonates with us and whatever we learn, we share it with others. So keep on your learning journey and enjoy the learning. Don't beat yourself up. Easier said than done, right? And go trust the flow and go with whatever comes up for you. Sit in it. Join the feeling of fear or the distrust or join the feeling of inadequacy or whatever and feel it. And then, why am I feeling this way? Like, and an exercise that I got to do today that is really cool is having this conversation with my heart. Like, okay, heart, who do you think that I am? Who am I? And what am I here for? And then having your heart speak back to you of who you are and what you're here for is amazing and powerful. And if you choose to do this exercise, I guarantee you, you are going to learn things about yourself that maybe you weren't aware of, and put some emotion into that. Like, what are your feelings as this comes up? And maybe you're not in a good spot, and maybe they are all negative emotions. Let those be teaching moments of, do I like to sit in that? Is this who I am? Like, we are all children of God. Is that who I am and who I am defined to be? And it is so important that we pay attention to what it is we are putting into our mind subconsciously and consciously. Those endless hours of TV shows or movies, they matter. It's what are we filling our mind with brain candy mindlessness, or are we filling our mind with meaningful stuff? Messages are all over, like billboards, magazines, internet, social media. Their messages are everywhere. And what are we choosing to pick up to feed our soul? What are we willing to do to work on ourself to become better? Self-improvement is world improvement. We are making this world a better place by focusing on strengthening our skills and our strengths, and looking at our weaknesses and sitting with it and going, okay, now that I recognize that this is a weakness, what am I going to do to make it a strength? Who can I call on to help me with this particular area? So I don't know, just have fun, play with it. But again, the human design, I encourage you to get an app. They have all sorts of free apps to download to better know yourself. And God bless. Please hit like and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.